Alrighty, so I'm assuming that now you have your domain name and you have your web host and you've already installed WordPress. First of all, I just wanted to point out this really great resource at wordpress.org, codex.wordpress.org, and I'm actually on the page called First Steps with WordPress. So everything that I'm showing you, there's much more here provided already by wordpress.org, and everything's fairly intuitive and easy to follow. All right, so now that you are all hooked up in so many ways, now we're going to start setting up your WordPress hosted website. So the first thing you need to do is you should go to your domain name. So I might go to kpalana.com or orashouse.com, and then, hang on a minute. And then you need to log in so that you can find your dashboard. And I just scroll down here so you can see what a typical WordPress login window looks like. So basically all you need to do is log in to WordPress with your new username and password. And what you can do is you can go to your domain name /wp-admin right here, and they also say that you can now place the word login after your domain name with the later versions of WordPress. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go to one of my existing websites, and I'm going to type it in http://orashouse.com/wp admin, and in a moment it will load and I will find the WordPress symbol here. Okay, and it's asking me for my username and password. So if you're doing this along with me, just put in your username and your password, and it's also helpful if you're using the same computer all the time that it remembers you. And that's it. We log in, and then in a moment it should take us to our dashboard. I'm going to give you the grand tour in the very next lesson. All right, so here we are in our dashboard. Our dashboard is exactly what you think it is. It's our control panel that allows us to modify and tweak all aspects of our new website. So right now, your new website probably doesn't have all that much going on. It probably has a default WordPress theme. If you would actually go to your domain name without logging in, you would see something that looked really defaulty looking. So basically, let me just give you the rundown. So up in the upper left-hand corner, this is where your website is, and from here, hang on, it'll actually just show you it will basically just take you to your site as is. And when you're logged into your site, obviously this is a WordPress hosted site that I've been working on for a long time, so yours will not look like this just yet. But if you go to your site, you will see that you have all of your little goodies up here. So here's all the help in the upper left hand corner: about WordPress, wordpress.org, documentation, support forums, and feedback. So that's all stuff that you want to have on hand. And then under your domain name, whatever you named your site, you'll have your own personal dashboard, your themes, which is something I'll get into in a little bit. That's how you control the look and the feel. Customize, which is another way that you control the look and the feel of your website. Widgets, which are little add-ons that add dynamic functions to your website. And menus. So all of these things are here. I actually have quite a few plugins that I need to update, which I will do later, and that's another thing that we'll get into. Comments if you have any, and then there's a little sort of quick button here that will allow you to make a quick post, to add media such as images or videos, whatever it is, if you want to add a new link, a new page, or a new user. We'll get into those in just a little bit. And then in the upper right hand corner, it's just showing me, because I'm logged in, it's greeting me. And there's also the little search function. So if we go back into our dashboard, it will take us to our control panel. And you can actually customize all the things that you see in front of you here. But in general, I'm going to just go run down the list with you here, and we'll get into customizing our different settings. Okay, so maybe before we fuss too much with the look and the feel, why don't we just get a little bit of content going? Now, again, you know, this is a established website already, but to create your first post, you go under your site name and then dashboard. And then we are going to go in the little panel over here. So you probably won't have these because these are plugins. So the first thing you should see is posts. And what we can do is we go under posts, and we say add new, and we'll get a little area where we can make a new post. So let's do, you know, this is a sample post. So you want to give your post a title, and then you'll notice that in here you have a visual editor and a text editor. The text editor is for HTML. Remember HTML? And then here's the visual editor. So here you can start, you know, typing in, hello, this is my first post. So you just add text the way that you think you would. You type it in or copy and paste it in. And then in your little dashboard here, you have different settings, kind of similar to Microsoft Word or anything else. And if we wanted to add a link, you just put in your text, you highlight it, and then over here we can insert a link. We'll just, it actually gives me a whole bunch of other links. I'm just going to type in a new link, orashouse.com, oops, orashouse.com as my link, and then you can decide if you want it to open in a new window or not. Yeah, okay, that's it. So add link, there's my link. And actually I find that in this theme it's easier to see links when you bold them. By the way, this is not how it will look when we go to the regular site, because I've customized in my theme the colors and everything else. Okay, so anyway, so you have all of these different things, bulleted list, numbered list, block quotes, etc., which you can play around with. So here's my text, here's my link, and if I would like to add media, if I go under here, under add media, it will give me my media library and actually have a whole bunch of images already in here. But I can also go under upload files and choose something from my computer. And I'm just going to grab something from our class site that we were playing with. That was what, my Apple menu, just something that we were working on before in this class. And it will show up in here. And then you have options here, so if you wanted to have a caption, alternate text, and a description. And remember, our alternate text is very important. Okay, so that's it. And it also gives you different options for sizes. I'm going to put in the full size just for now. Insert into post, and it's going to be gigantic. Okay. And I'll just scroll down here. Okay, that's pretty big. So, when your image is in here, if you click on it, you'll see an option to delete it or edit it. I usually go back in and edit it, so I'm going to click on it. And here we can decide, scroll up here. Here we can decide if it's going to be left justified, right justified, if the text's going to flow around it, or if there's not going to be text on either side of it. And here you can choose your different sizes, and you can decide if you want to link to another file or if it's going to go to its own URL page, and you would type that in here. And then as we go down here, I have trouble scrolling here, you can also decide if you want your image to have a border. You would put it here. You can choose the border color, margins. Sometimes you have to get a WordPress plugin to have this option. This used to be a standard WordPress thing, and in some of the recent versions they took it out. So I actually have a plugin that added this option here, but we'll get into plugins in a little bit. But anyway, so I'm just going to add some margins around my image, and that's it. So I hit update, and there's my image. It's quite a bit smaller actually. And if I were to start typing, because I remember I made it left justified, it's also giving me this margin of 20 pixels so that my text isn't right up against my image. Okay, so now we have an image, we have text, we have a link, we pretty much have a post. Just so you know, if we go under text, you'll see that everything is, it's sort of like fake HTML. It's text, but then you have these HTML tags in here. So if you wanted to modify those or just do more with code, you can do it in text mode. I'm going to go back to visual mode, and then that's a pretty good sample post. The other thing is you can choose a category for your post. I have my categories already. Let's say I wanted this to go under community, and then I actually have subcategories of people. But if I wanted to, I could also create a new category here. So you can create categories from within the post page, but for now we'll just leave that one alone. And then it's always a good idea also to put tags on your posts. I recommend not more than 5 or 6. You would probably think that having 20 tags is a good thing, but it actually makes it harder for the search engines to find your page. So we'll put some tags in here. We'll say post. Okay, so we can add these here. I'm actually not going to add new tags because that's going to affect orshouse.com, but if you want to put new tags in here, you just put them in and you hit add, or I already have existing tags, so I can choose from existing tags. So let's say for whatever reason that this post is related to income generation, Guatemala, and Central America. So they come in here, and then we're pretty much all set and ready to go. So over here on the right hand side you have publish. You can save a draft, you can see a preview. I'm gonna just click on preview. So this shows me what my post will look like, and wow, 144 tweets. That would be nice. Anyway, so this is our sample post, and this is what it would look like in the site. So that's just a preview. It hasn't been, nothing has been published yet. You can save a draft if you want to work on it later. You don't want to commit to it, that's fine. You can also, you have all kinds of visibility settings, so you could make this private, password protected, etc. And then finally you hit OK. Right now we have this as public. I'm going to make this private because this is just a sample, so I'm going to say OK. And then publish immediately. You can also make changes here if you don't want to publish it right now, but you want to schedule it to be published, you can do that here. So if I wanted this to actually publish on January, I don't know, 15th at a certain time, I could do that. But let me hit cancel. Okay, so publish immediately, okay, and that's it. So that's it. We are doing our new post, and let's publish it. Okay, so now it's publishing, and let's see what it looks like. So I'm going to go over here under View Post, and this is what it looks like. Okay, phew, not all those tweets. Okay, so anyway, so here's the sample post, and now we have something to work with. So that was your making a post crash course. Alrighty, so we made our first post. So let me show you. Let's go into the dashboard and let me show you how to make your first page. So under the Pages tab, so we went under Posts, and here you can also find where you can add categories and tags as well. So we did it from our own Create a Post page, but you can also do it here. And under the Pages tab, we can actually see all pages, or we can say Add New. I'm going to click on Add New. And creating a page is exactly the same as creating a post. My new page. Okay, and then you just put in everything that goes on your page here. So as you can see, I'm just putting in some gobbledygook. I'm going to go and add media. I'll just grab something from my media library because you already know how to do all of this stuff now. Okay, and pretty much it's the same exact thing as making a post. So you have all the same settings over here for saving a draft and for preview. There is one difference though, and that is under page attributes. So you have your page attributes here, and you can decide, for example, if this page is going to be a child of one of your other pages like I had in my menu drop down bar. But let's say you wanted this to be a main menu item or a main page, then you would choose no parent here. But you see, actually I have all these other pages on the site that I could choose from. You can also choose which order they're going to be in. So you noticed in my menu that I had you notice that the Aura's House main menu, there's a certain order. There's, I think, About Us, How You Can Help, Donors List, etc. So they're in a certain order, so you can give your pages an order. So if you wanted this page that we were creating to be the first one, you would give it the number 0. For the second one, it would be number 1, number 2, number 3, etc. Okay, here you can do a featured image if you want to. And that's pretty much it. So we're making a page, and there's some other things down here that we'll get into later, search engine optimization, but that's it. So we can save a draft. We can also preview. Let's do a preview to see what our page would look like. And it looks like this. Isn't that beautiful? I know you're jealous. All right, but anyway, so here's our new page. And now we can go in, and if we want to, we can publish it. We can play around with the visibility. So that's making a new page. Very, very simple. All right, so now it's time to talk about plugins. I have a whole bunch of plugins, but hopefully not too many, already installed at Aura's House. And probably the best way to show you what a plugin is to take you to the site, and so that I can show you all the extra features that it's allowed me to give. Okay, so if you take a look at the site, first of all, you'll notice that at the bottom of the posts, there are all these little social media share buttons. That is a plugin, so that allows people to share my posts. If we go into the post, there are other features as well. So for example, one plugin that I have allows me to see how many views that a particular post has gotten. And if I scroll down, let's see, you can see my social media share buttons here as well. I also have a plugin. It's an anti-spam word. So believe it or not, this doesn't come automatically with WordPress. So if people are going to be leaving comments and you want to make sure they're not spam robots, then they need to basically type in the text that they see in the picture. And this is I think it's called Peter's Custom Anti-Spam. So you can put your own words in there, etc. So that's another plugin that's added dynamic features to my site. I also have a plugin just that allows people to know if people have followed up on comments that they've made through email. So that's another plugin, little things. Other plugins that I have are in the come with their own widgets. So this is actually a image that I've set up to go to our donation button over at Children International's site. This is a plugin that allows people to follow our social media pages for Aura's House, Facebook, Twitter, and the RSS feed. I also have a plugin that gives people a customizable login window, the subscribe feature for people who want to subscribe. And then other plugins, I use the Next Gen Gallery for managing my galleries, but that gives me a widget that allows people to look at past projects through the form of a little slideshow here. I'm just clicking on it so you can see some of our past projects. And let me see, do I have any other plugins in here? Let me see. And then, as I believe I was explaining before, I have in my widgets plugins that allow me just to add text, which allows me to grab code from other sites that gives me these customized iGive.com and good search buttons. Okay, anyway, so those are some examples of plugins, but and those are the things that you can actually see going on in the site. But one of the beautiful things about plugins is that there's a lot going on behind the scenes too. So I'm going to go under plugins, and I'll show you some of the installed plugins that I have. And I will be giving you a resource of the most important plugins to add to your new site that you can have a look at. But if you take a look at let's go to my active plugins. Okay, so just to go through here, basically there's a description after each one. So this advanced image styles plugin is the one that allows me to add borders and margins around my images when I'm posting images. Kismet is a must. This is, it protects your blog from comment and trackback spam. You'd be surprised how many spam messages you will get the moment that you launch your website. So this just keeps you from having to deal with thousands of spam comments every day, a Kismet. All-in-one SEO pack is also very important. This allows you to add keywords and descriptions at the bottom of every post so that search engines can find you better. These are my social media plugins. This is the CAPTCHA that is the little anti-spam word. Comment, reply notification, custom metadata manager. So there's a whole bunch of plugins. Let me show you some of the more important ones. Google XML sitemaps is a wonderful one because it generates a special XML sitemap, and that helps the search engines find your website. Jetpack is sort of a standard one. I don't really use it that much, to be honest. I like Next Gen Gallery. It's a really good gallery plugin. I have to say though, sometimes it slows down your entire site, which is why I have Next Gen Gallery Optimizer. As you can see, here's the Peter's custom anti-spam profile picture, sidebar login. Smart YouTube Pro is good for adding videos, subscribe buttons. Some of these ones from WordPress are really useful. WP ban allows you to ban people if by IP address, etc. if you've got nasty people that you need to keep away from your site. This WP email allows people to recommend your site from your posts. Polls is a good one. Post views, that was the one that showed all the views. This is a useful one. WP print, it allows people to just simply print out your web page, which again you would think would be automatic, but it's not. This is a really good one, WP Touch mobile plugin. This allows your site to be a much better website on devices, on tablets and smartphones. And Xcloner is a great website for backing up your database. So this was the introduction to plugins, and I've showed you how they worked. I've showed you some of the ones that I use. Let me just very quickly, before we go any further here, let me just show you how you can add a new plugin. So here is where we add new plugins. So we go under add new, and this is kind of fun. It's almost like window shopping. Okay, so this is the install plugins page, and you can do a search. Let's say for whatever reason you want to find a plugin. I mean, it gives you actually a bunch of tags here. So there's, image plugins, sidebar plugins, photos, media, widgets, whatever. Let's say you wanted to make a progress bar for, let's say you're doing like a fundraising thing and you want to do like a little progress bar or something whenever people donate. We just do search plugins, progress. And here's progress bar, custom progress bar, etc. So what you can do is you can search the plugins that you like, and WordPress is great because if you like what you see and it's well rated and it seems like a good plugin, you can just click install now and it will automatically be installed, and then you'll find it easily in your installed plugins. So I encourage you to explore plugins further, and I will give you that resource so you'll know which ones are best for your new website. I hope you enjoyed the plugins crash course. Okay, so we've made our first post and our first page. You can also adjust the appearance of your entire site. So under appearance here, you have all of these different things. We have appearance themes, and yes, I want to go there so I can show you. So we're going to go, and here you'll find this is actually my theme that I'm using right now, and there's all these other themes from WordPress that are available, and just ignore those. If we scroll down, here's the default. This is the default WordPress theme, and you can do a preview of what your site would look like within this theme. Take a look at what Aura's house would look like in this default WordPress theme. So you'll see there's my sample post is here, and actually all my other posts are down here. So this gives me a bit of a preview, but I'm not going to save and activate. I'm going to hit cancel because I'm quite happy with the theme that I already have. There's a WordPress Classic, etc. So I'm going to just close this for a minute. So you have a couple of themes that WordPress is going to give you that you can try on if you'd like. And you can also, under Add New Theme, click here, and it's going to give you, it's going to bring you to a place where you can look at featured themes, popular themes, latest, etc. So let's say I want to go to popular. Okay, so let's say we go and we look at popular themes. It will show me some really interesting themes, and so let's say for whatever reason we like the look and the feel of Virtue, or even this is a nice one too, Spacious. Okay, so some of these are very visuals, others might be better, you know, have more space for lots of posts. So basically you just find a theme that you like, you click on it, you hit preview to see what your site would look like. You also get additional information, ratings, etc. And this is the theme preview. This is actually not giving me a preview of my site. It's just giving me what basically how it's set up. But if I were to install this theme, then I would be able to preview it just like I was doing before. And yeah, basically what I do when I'm looking for a theme is, again, I don't fuss too much over the colors or anything else. I just look more for the general layout. Does it suit my purposes? Is it gonna, you know, do what I want my blog or my website to do? And then once you have your theme, every theme has an area where you can customize it and make little changes. Okay, so anyway, that was under Appearance Themes, and as promised, if we want to go under Appearance Customize, just to show you, so remember I'm using the theme Artemia right here, and there's all these little things that I can customize right from in here. So it gives me some different things for my title and tagline, static and front page, etc. So it gives me these little options as well. But there's also, when you install your theme, sometimes you'll find that you need to go under this category here called Editor. So there were some ways that I could customize my theme, but if I go under Editor, then, oh no, what is that, code? No, I'm just kidding with you. Yeah, so this is where your knowledge of HTML and CSS will start to come in handy, because here's my Artemia style sheet, style.css, and in here, it'll let me scroll down just a minute. Hang on. Okay, so as I scroll in here, you'll see that, you know, there's different things, you know, a link, active link, hover link, etc. You'll notice there's color codes here, so I can change my colors here if I'm familiar with hexadecimal color values. I can just go in and find anything that I want to customize, whether it's a color or the text or the font. It's all in here in the style sheet, and that is connected to my entire website, so it basically will modify everything in that theme. So under everything over here, these are just pages, PHP pages, but the one that you want to use, the one that you're most likely going to be using for customizing, is the last one under styles, and this is my style.css page. But we won't get into that right now. This is just, again, a bit of a tour. So anyway, so these are some things in your Appearance tab. And in the next lesson, I'll get into widgets and menus, which are quite useful to know about. right? So I know you want me to get away from this scary code, but it's really not scary, I promise. Okay, so let's go back to our Appearance tab. And let's take a look at widgets. So this is where I put in all those things in my footer and in my sidebars. And how it works is you have, on the right hand side, you have basically all the things that are connected to your site. So I have the sidebar on the top. I basically have a sidebar and my footer here. So these are all the things on the right hand side of my website. And basically there's available widgets that automatically come in. So we have, you know, Akismet, archives, categories, email, etc. I just basically drag them and drop them into my various areas. So this is the top of my sidebar. This is sidebar left and right. This is like two sections right below that, and then there's the bottom of the sidebar. And if I open these up, you'll see that in this one I just have polls. In this one I have the calendar, and then on the bottom we have, hang on, we have an area where I've put in some custom text, archives, the gallery, and then a little ad. So these text bars are just a place that you can plop in other code. So this is actually the good search. Good search graphic, and what I did is I just grabbed the code from good search and I put it in this text box, and so it displays as an image. So it's just little areas where you can put in custom HTML code. Okay, so that's in my sidebar bottom. And at the sidebar top, again, I prioritized, you know, what I wanted people to see first, second, and third, etc. So these are my social media buttons here. Okay, and then this is my login area. This is a subscribe button, links, and then a slideshow. Anyway, so what you can do is you can play around with the widgets that you already have. So if you decide that you want to have, you know, recent posts or recent comments or whatever, you just grab that. So let's say for whatever reason I wanted to put another polls, you just drag it. So I'll just put it in the sidebar bottom just to show you. So we have polls, and then this is connected to a widget called polls, which you have settings for in this menu over here. But anyway, let's say I've created a poll and it's called, you know, how cool is WordPress? Let's say it's called that. And then you basically have settings for all of these. So these are actually all the polls that I have. But you can also do display latest poll. Anyway, so you can hit save, but if you decide, oh, horrible, I just realized that I put that poll in and it's live on Aura's house. Well, anyway, if you do that, you can get rid of it just as easily. You just drag it over to the left and yoink, it's gone, no problem. And you don't even have to save anything. It's just going to automatically come out of your sidebar bottom or wherever you've put it. So anyway, so WordPress will give you existing widgets, but later when you start playing around with plugins, many of those plugins also come with widgets. So if you do install, for example, maybe you want to do a Twitter widget where people can follow your Twitter website, then you would install a Twitter plugin, and if you go under widgets, it should show up under available widgets, and then you can just drag it to wherever it goes. Okay, anyway, so that was the rundown on widgets. Okay, so the last thing that we should play around with, the last thing that we haven't gone over yet, is the menus. So I'm going to click on menus under appearance, and this is where we set up our main navigation menu. Very important, where we put all our pages that we've set up. So at the moment, hang on a minute. Okay, so this is where we would create a new menu. So we can edit existing menus, and I have, you know, some things going on already here, but let's say I wanted to create a new menu, because you're going to want to create a new menu. You just click the button, and first it wants to know our menu name. So we'll call this main home menu, for example, and we say create, and it will create our menu. and then it will want to know exactly which pages are going to go into it. So you can add menus from the column on the left. So let's say we want to add the donors list, add to menu. Okay, so again, you need to have your pages first before you can do this. Let's say I want to also have about us in the menu. Add to menu. And I want to have frequently asked questions, add to menu. So you just choose from your existing pages, and pretty much that's it. And it allows you, oh, this is actually a new feature, which is better. You can drag it in the order that you want. So about us would probably make more sense to come first, maybe frequently asked questions. And oh, that's nice too. So it actually allows you to make frequently asked questions a sub-item of about us. This is a new feature as well. Or you can just drag it and these will be 3 things and that's it. And then you just save the menu and that will be showing up and displaying in your new website. So you also have some settings as well. Automatically add new top level pages to this menu. So I would leave that unchecked. And that's pretty much it. You save your menu and you're ready to go. So making menus is very easy. I'm not going to save this menu because again, I'm just giving you a demonstration, but this is where you would set up your menu. And as long as you've created your pages first, this should be very easy to do. And then once you're done, you should test it and take a look at your site. I'll pretend that I made a menu, which I did in the past. And then you want to go to your site and you just want to make sure, let's try that again. And you just want to make sure, so your new menu, once you've saved it, should be showing up here. And if you have sub items, then they would be showing up underneath whichever parent menu item that you've given it. So in my about us, frequently asked questions, statistics, etc. So your menu will show up here and you can control everything under appearances, menu. All right, we're back in our dashboard. So we were just playing with our settings in the last lesson. Let's take a look at tools. So you'll see there are little tools here under available tools. And this is really not too exciting. It's just, press this and categories and tags converter. You can add more to your tools through plugins, but there's not really much going on here. But if you go under import, for example, it actually says that if you have a blog somewhere else, posts or comments in another system, WordPress can import those into the site. So this could be really useful if you have a Tumblr page, a regular WordPress blog, live journal, I used to use that one, memories, blogger, etc. So yeah, you don't have to create everything from scratch if you're moving over from another system. That's under Tools, Import. If we go under Export, it will give us ways that we can export all of our content, and it usually wants to know what we want to export: posts, pages. I actually have albums and galleries in here, but that's through the Next Gen plugin. And that's it. You can download the export file. So just a couple of things to be aware of under the Tools palette. All right, so we're back in the dashboard and let's go underneath. We'll get to plugins probably in a little bit, but let's take a look at probably the most important thing you want to start with would be settings. So this is where you modify everything to do with your site. So if we go under General, Settings, General, it's going to ask you, your site title, your tagline, your WordPress address, etc., email address, all of these things. So these are just generic settings. Okay. If you want your web page to have a membership where people can register, then you want to make sure this is checked off, and default role will be subscriber, time zone, etc., etc. So all of these things are here, and you just save the changes. So those are the general settings. Under writing, you have default post category, default post format, and default link category. And these are just all of your writing options. These are if you wanted to, for example, make a web post from an email, you can set that up here. Nothing too exciting in here, but anyway, your writing settings are here. I think the more important one is the reading settings, because here you can control how your front page displays. So I have Aura's House set up where the latest posts show up, but you can also do a static page, kind of like a more traditional website, and then you just would have to choose the page that would be showing up there. And then you can choose how many posts and pages are shown. So 5 posts maximum on my site. Syndication feeds show the most recent 10 items. And then you can decide if you want to have full text or a summary. So there's all kinds of options for how people view and read your website. Search engine visibility. If you want to be picked up by the search engines, I recommend don't check off this button. So that's reading. You have options for if people are going to leave comments or not under discussion. So comment settings, allow people to post comments on new articles, etc. I have it set up. Just a minute. If I scroll down here, email. You can set up whether that's going to email you, comment moderation, etc. So these are all the little settings related to comments, and you see you have all of these different settings under settings. So media, you have options for your images as well. And as you can see, it's all pretty straightforward. Permalinks, custom anti-spam. Some of these come in here after you've added a plugin. So this anti-spam one is related to a plugin that I have that discourages spam. All of these other ones are related to plugins. So you should probably see these. And I think, hold on a minute, there should be just a minute. Okay, yeah, actually, so you should probably see just these main ones. All of these other ones are related to plugins that I have. So do know that as you add plugins to your website, that you will get more and more options in your control panel, and they'll be in different places. So sometimes you'll find them in widgets, sometimes you'll find them in settings. So settings is where you are going to tweak and tweak till your heart's content. All right, we were just playing with tools. Let's go and play around with our links. So if you want to add links to your site or have recommended links, then this is the tab for you. And we can go under all links. I actually have links already. They were in my right sidebar, and I just have them from this list here: Children International, project stats, gift cards, etc. And these are all different links that are available on my homepage. But if you want to add new links, then we just go under Add New, the Add New button, and then it wants to know the name of our link. So let's say we want a link to, I don't know, for whatever reason it's popping in my head, Nike, the sneaker company, for whatever reason. And then here we put the link for it. Nike.com. Again, not affiliated with Nike.com. Description if you want to. Great shoes. And then you have categories for your links as well. And so actually all of my links that are displaying on my homepage are under the category recommended links. By default, WordPress calls this blog roll, so you can actually change that in the link categories setting up here. But let's see, I'm just going to add a new category for now. We'll call this test, and we'll add it there. Okay, And that's pretty much it. And then you have targets for your links if you want them to open in a new window or tab, etc. And then you have some other settings down here, but I really don't normally bother with those. And that's pretty much it. So we'll say I'm going to just keep this link private for now, and I'm going to say add link. And that will go into my new link categories that I've created. Under link categories here, I should see 2 now. I have recommended links, and there's 8 links in there. And I have my test links here. If I were to, let's go back into our widgets for a moment. So let's say that you have recommended links, or they call it by default blog roll, and you want it to show up on your home page, then you would have to go under, hang on a minute, you would have to go under appearance widgets that we were just playing with before, and you'll notice that in my sidebar top, I have my links here. So this was a widget, and here's my link category. And actually it says all links here, but I only used to have just that one. So recommended links, sort link by link title, etc. So you have all of your options here. You hit save, and then you should find on your website, I'm just going to go visit Aura's house for a minute to show you where my links show up. So this is my sidebar, and they show up right here, recommended links. So that's how links work. We're getting there. Okay, we're back at Aura's house. I'm going to go into my dashboard, and let's have a look at users. Now, your website maybe won't have users, or maybe it will. Maybe you'll have people subscribing. That would be great. Anyway, you can manage all of your users under the users tab here. And here we go. I'm actually under the all users tab here. And these are all of my users. I have 366 subscribers. I have 2 editors. Those were students from the American University of Rome that were working with me last semester. I made them editors, which just meant that they could author posts and pages, but that they weren't able to delete other things on the site. It was just a, training wheels on sort of thing. And then there are 6 administrators. So the administrators on this site are my Aura's House partners, and that means they're able to come in and edit things and author content freely. And then all of my subscribers are here, 366. So let's say, for whatever reason, and I'm going to have to blur out these email addresses, but all of the users are here. Okay, so all of my users are here. Let's say for whatever reason I wanted to change the role of someone. So let's say I wanted to make this person an administrator or an editor. You just click on them, and then over here you can say change role to. Let's say we want to let this person become an author. We hit change, and I'm not going to actually do that, but you can change it here. I think it did it anyway. My mouse pad is so sensitive. Okay, well, I accidentally made an author here. So let's go back and we'll get rid of him, and we'll put him or her back to subscriber. So we just select that person again, change the role to subscriber, and we hit and we say change, and it goes back to subscriber. So you can change all of these things. I just want to show you here. The least amount of control is a subscriber. They're only able to read, right? The most amount of control is the administrator, and then it basically goes in order from least amount of control to most control. So if I remember correctly, you can find definitions of this if you go and look on WordPress, but a contributor can create content, but they don't necessarily get to publish that content or edit that content. The author can create content and publish their own content. I believe an editor can do everything that an author can do, and they can edit other people's posts. And then finally, an administrator can control everything, edit everyone's post, publish or not publish anything. All right, so that's pretty much it. If we wanted to add a new user, let's say that we are working with someone and we want to give them control to work on the site, then you just go under Add New over here. Or you could actually do it from here as well. So under Add New, then you'd have to know what their username and email is before you can add the new user, but then they would come in as a subscriber or however they come in, and then you can change those settings later. So all of those settings are here. And then finally, assuming that you're a user, you have a place called your profile here. And hang on a minute. Again, getting lots of, I'm getting yelled at because I do have to update my plugin, so forgive me. But anyway, so here's my control panel for updating my own profile. So it's, different information is here, etc., etc. All right, so that is that. So now you know how to go in. You can look at and change the role of your users. You can add users, and you can modify your own profile. We're getting there. Hey there. So hopefully you're starting to get more and more ideas and ways to kind of break through your creative blocks. But one of the very best ways is to just start making stuff using free software, free tools, free images, free video, and free music. Because if you are just sitting around staring at a blank screen or a blank canvas waiting for an idea, that's going to freeze you up. But if you start at least thinking about, I want to do something with animals, and you start looking at pictures with animals or start working with templates, etc., and you start putting something together, you're going to get ideas as you're working. One of my very best creativity boosting techniques is going to one of my sources for free images, music, and videos for your projects. I will give you the link to this blog post on my website, and I will talk to you a little bit more about copyright law and what you can and cannot do when using other people's images. But I have here a whole list of places where you can get free Creative Commons images that you can start working with as a base. So some people maybe will take a picture of a rocket ship and start tracing over it and throw out the original photograph, and boom, you have an illustration. Other people want to make photo collages, or they want to go into a free program like Canva and put images together, maybe even ones that you took, right? So there's all kinds of places where you can get free professionally shot photographs and illustrations online. So this is my big list. There's also an area if you're someone who wants to play around with video or animation. There's places where you can get free, royalty-free music and sound effects that you can put together either in an audio project or as the soundtrack for a video or animation that you're making. And then you also can use free videos. Many of you maybe want to make a website, or you've seen websites that have video backgrounds. These are great places to get free professionally shot video that you can use in your website projects, but also in your video and animation project. So I highly recommend just browsing this resource, and then let me show you. So this is a blog that I have with my students in Yangon. They're secondary students at Fallon International School. And here's just 4 samples. These are grades 6 through 11. And many of them have absolutely zero design or art experience. And what we did in the class is I had them go to those websites, find an animal of their choice, and then we brought the photo in a free program called GIMP, which you can download for free. I'll leave the link for you. And then they brought in their photo, and then they used the drawing tools in GIMP in a different layer to trace over the photo, made their little tweaks here and there, and then they threw out the original photo, and they were left with different kinds of illustrations. So these are 4 just different examples. So some just did a black and white drawing like this one with the elephant, and she really played around with the different thicknesses of lines to get those wrinkles in the skin. And then others were kind of more colorful, more blocky. This student used a big fat brush, almost like a paintbrush, to draw around a dog. And you can actually see remnants of the original photograph in the background here. So that's another way that you can start making stuff without worrying so much that you're completely on your own. So my other suggestions are going to a great website such as Canva. I'm already logged in. Canva.com is a great website because they give you all kinds of templates. So if you don't have an idea, you can borrow an idea and just start putting in your own text and your own words. So if we were going to make a Facebook cover, for example, and just for example, it gives you all kinds of templates. Obviously, you want to use the free ones unless you want to pay to use it. But let's say, I don't know, we choose one of these. Boom, right? So Canva gives you a template, and then anything you click on, you're gonna get settings for. So flip this in. You can change the position. Usually I start with the text. So anything I click on allows me to click on the text, and I can change the font if I want to, the colors, etc. I apologize because I don't have so much time to go into every single program I want to show you, but I just want to give you a taste of all the free tools out there where you can use templates to get started. So if I wanted to change the image, in Canva, you have the elements section over here. And if I wanted a picture of a tree, for example, it has all kinds of free photos and graphics here. So if I wanted to, I can bring this in here, actually. Right? With photos, you can replace this photo with something else. Okay, so anyway, it lets you drag in any photos that you want. And of course, if you have your own photo, you just upload an image there. These are some of my students from Mandalay in Myanmar. Mandalay teaching a social media course. And there we are, right? So anyway, just an example in Canva. Obviously, then when I'm happy with this, I can go and I can download it and use it anywhere I want. That's just Canva. I have a full course on this, by the way, I should mention, but you don't need a full course to get started, right? There's other kinds of tools besides Canva. So if you want to make a website, there's Wix.com, which also is very easy and intuitive. You just go in, and obviously I'm logged in, but you go in and you can create a new site, and you just say, what kind of site do you want to make? Templates for portfolio and CV. Now, it'll actually make one for you, but if you choose a template, it's the same thing as Canva. You just go in, let's say I like this one. You just go in and you start editing. All right, so here's my template. It's the same thing. And there's a bunch of help videos to help you with anything if you get confused. Anything, just like in Canva, I can change. And anything I select, I have settings for, right? So um, I can change my font, the color, etc. I want to change. Boom. So I have that. I can change pictures if I want to, change image. So anything I click on, it gives me settings for. I have a bunch of bunny images in here already, but you also have the same option in Wix. What I wanted to say is that basically Wix, just like Canva, gives you free images that you can use. So for example, ta-da, there it is. So I know it seems a bit overwhelming just coming in here and starting off, but basically that's how it works. You can click on anything, start changing it. You have buttons. Up the top here you have pages. So right now we're on the home page. We can manage pages, and there's actually a resume page. When I click on it, I'm taken to the resume page, and I can edit that as well. I can get rid of pages or add my own. And then when I'm done, I can preview my website and publish my website, and this is all for free. So that is the world's quickest introduction to Wix. Yet again, I'll just say it once so I don't have to say it for each example, but I have a larger course for every single one of these tools that I'm going to show you. But anyway, so that's Wix. And what else did I want to show you? I wanted to show you Powtoon. So Powtoon is just like Canva, just like Wix. I'm not going to get into it here, but you sign up, you go in, and you have templates, and then you just swap the stuff around. You can have your own animations, you can put your own music in, you can write the text and determine the story. And if you follow a template, it's much easier than if you're just trying to do everything from scratch. So there's Powtoon. And okay, and then there's Stencil. And so one thing I like about this one is you just grab an image, whatever you like, text here, which be light if it's going to be on that dark background. But then the thing I like about Stencil is just like Canva, but they have a bunch of quotes here. Boom. Creativity is a gift. It doesn't come through if the air is cluttered. John Lennon. Thank you, John Lennon. So anyway, you can move stuff around, but it just makes it really easy to make an inspiring quote that you can share on social media. That took me, what, 2 minutes? And then you basically can download it or share it right on social media. So that's that. So there's a bunch of free tools that you can start using right away. Plus, you know where to get free images, free videos, and free music. So now you really have no excuse. So if you still are not feeling creative, then maybe you should just not worry about it and just start making stuff instead and see if that helps give you ideas. All right, I hope this helps. See you in the next lesson. All right, so creating a website with WordPress is a rather large topic, and I've only scratched the surface. I've only kind of gotten you started and I've given you the grand tour, but you pretty much have everything you need now to make a beautiful WordPress hosted website. This is an area that I often help my students with who have already taken Web Design 1 with me one semester. Usually the second semester they may do a web independent study with me where we, I let them work on Aura's House, we work on the American University of Rome website, and then by halfway through they create their own WordPress hosted site. Just to show you, let me go. I wonder if it's still in my web browser here. In my student featured work, I featured a former student of mine, Jenny Lynn Sharps. This is her WordPress hosted site, but what's fun about this is it's very similar to the site that she made from scratch in Dreamweaver when she was learning with me. So anyway, I just want to show you that, it is easy to make the transition from, your own basic static website to a dynamic WordPress hosted site. And once you have done all the groundwork, even if you've made everything already in Dreamweaver and you've done your plans and you've decided, the look and the feel and the content, it's really easy to just go into your old stuff, copy and paste, and bring it into WordPress. So I don't think that any of her work was wasted. And she has her pages here, and she basically made this where her first page is a static page, and then her portfolio links are here, and then you can go in and look at her gallery. So this is actually from a plugin in WordPress, so you can do some beautiful lightbox galleries as well. And yeah, so there's so much potential for making websites. I really hope that you're finding all of these lessons useful. So I do encourage you just to keep exploring these topics further. There are many other specific to WordPress courses and tutorials out there. But if you do have questions about anything, do let me know, and I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to help you troubleshoot. Do remember that WordPress.org has that great resource that can answer your questions, and there are forums and everything else. All right, so I hope that you are well on your way to making a great WordPress hosted site, and if you have some beautiful links, I would love to see them. Thanks.